Have you ever thought about why certain individuals occupy your thoughts, even when you prefer to move forward in life? You may find yourself engaged in new adventures and meeting fresh faces, yet these individuals persist like shadows from earlier times, reappearing in moments of solitude. Carl Jung proposed that these repetitive thoughts are purposeful and not random occurrences. They serve as messages from our unconscious mind, prompting us to explore further. The human brain isn't merely a device for processing logical data and discarding the irrelevant. It tends to retain emotionally significant memories, unresolved issues, or meaningful experiences, often against our desires. If someone consistently occupies your mind, it could indicate that there is an undisclosed psychological bond between you, something incomplete within your deeper mind. Jung's idea of the collective unconscious implies that we are linked by a hidden web of shared emotions, symbols, and experiences that extend beyond the individual. Certain individuals come into our lives and leave a mark on this deeper aspect of ourselves. Their presence in our minds signifies more than just a recollection. It conveys a message. Occasionally, these recurring thoughts relate to emotions that we have not fully dealt with, be it love, regret, admiration, or bitterness. Regardless of what the emotion is, the ongoing presence of this person in your mind suggests that your unconscious mind continues to hold on to them for a specific purpose. The mind does not revisit what lacks significance. It focuses on what bears importance and what requires recognition. There's also the issue of incomplete emotional energy. When relationships, brief meetings, or even short instances evoke strong emotions, they leave an impression. The unconscious mind does not operate according to the same timeline as the conscious mind. It is indifferent to whether it has been days, months, or years. If something remains unresolved, it continues to be active in the background, subtly affecting your thoughts and feelings. Have you ever listened to a song that immediately transported you to a specific time, person, or emotion? This happens because the mind organizes experiences into emotional groups, and just one prompt can bring everything rushing back. If someone is constantly on your mind, it might indicate that the emotional bond tying you to them was never completely severed, and it goes deeper than that. Some individuals linger in our thoughts, not because of who they are, but rather because of what they symbolize. The subconscious communicates through symbols. It connects individuals with lessons, aspirations, and even emotional scars from earlier experiences. Occasionally, the person who occupies your thoughts isn't merely a single individual. They represent an archetype, a manifestation of a larger truth within you. Perhaps they channel a profound yearning, an unhealed hurt, or a crucial component of your own narrative. Jung asserted that our mind clings to these figures as they are linked to our development. Until we grasp their significance in our subconscious, they will keep appearing. The important question is, what message is your mind attempting to convey? Now that we've discussed why certain individuals fill your mind, let's dig deeper. What if your perception of them is really a reflection of something within you? Have you ever experienced an intense attraction or an inexplicable aversion towards someone without a clear reason? Perhaps you place someone on an idealized pedestal, only to feel let down when they prove to be as imperfect as everyone else. Or you might have encountered someone who bothered you for no obvious cause, igniting feelings that seemed excessive for the context. Carl Jung theorized that these strong reactions often have little to do with the other person. They are, in fact, reflections of unacknowledged parts of yourself projected onto others like a film on a screen. This concept is the core of psychological projection, the unconscious tendency to attribute to others the characteristics, feelings, or conflicts we are unable to recognize within ourselves. Jung described the human mind as comprising both the conscious self, which we are aware of, and the unconscious, which holds everything we suppress, deny, or have not integrated. When we come across someone who dominates our thoughts, it's frequently because they mirror something within us that we have yet to fully recognize. This may be an unresolved fear, a concealed desire, or a trait we refuse to acknowledge in ourselves. For instance, if you consistently think about someone who exudes confidence and charm, it might be due to an inner longing to cultivate those traits in yourself. Conversely, if you harbor an unreasonable dislike for someone, it could be because they symbolize a part of you that you find hard to accept. We become more resistant to recognizing certain facets. Effects of ourselves, the greater influence they hold over us, and the more we project them onto others. The shadow, as referred to by Jung, represents the concealed, often darker aspects of our character, including the feelings, urges, and instincts that society or our upbringing have conditioned us to hide. We tend to think we are completely self-aware, but in reality, a significant part of our identity functions out of sight. When we encounter someone who profoundly connects with our inner self, they might be bringing to light a portion of our shadow. This explains why specific individuals linger in our thoughts. They symbolize something we need to assimilate, something we are subconsciously striving to understand. The mind doesn't focus on random individuals. It concentrates on those who reflect our own experiences. Whether we acknowledge it or not, the reason someone frequently occupies your thoughts may not be about them, but rather related to a part of yourself that longs to be revealed. But projection isn't limited to just single individuals. It can influence the way we perceive the world as a whole. Our perceptions of others are seen through the filter of our own inner struggles. When we deal with profound insecurities, we might think that others are critiquing us. If we grapple with feelings of unworthiness, we could view others as being better than us. When we have unresolved issues from our past, we might inadvertently transfer them onto our current relationships, repeating old habits without being aware of it. Grasping the concept of projection is essential because it helps us to reclaim aspects of ourselves that we may have unconsciously surrendered. Those whom we fixate on, hold in high regard, or feel bitter towards often reflect something about ourselves. The solution lies in shifting our focus from seeking answers externally to examining our inner selves. So, what occurs when these projections are linked to significant emotional attachments, where the connection is both emotional and psychological? Certain individuals leave such a deep impression that it seems impossible to forget them. Even as time goes by, and after we convince ourselves we have moved on, their essence remains like an incomplete thought. Why is this the case? Why do some emotional ties feel unbreakable, even when we consciously attempt to release them? Carl Jung posited that emotional attachments are more than mere psychological events. They get ingrained in the unconscious mind, affecting our thoughts, actions, and even how we view our identity. When an emotional tie is not resolved, it will continue to cast a subtle yet strong influence over our minds. It's as if a part of our mind is still intertwined with that individual, revisiting past memories and seeking closure or trying to understand what feels unfinished. Neuroscience backs this notion. When we develop a strong emotional bond, our brains form neural connections that link that person to feelings of comfort, love, or even distress. These neural pathways do not vanish when a relationship concludes. Instead, they persist, activating in response to a familiar scent, a song, or even a brief recollection. This is the reason certain individuals remain in our thoughts. Our brains have woven their presence into our emotional framework. The more profound the connection, the more potent these neural links become, complicating our ability to stop thinking about them. If an emotional incident remains unresolved, whether due to heartbreak, remorse, or unfinished matters, it can create a loop in our subconscious, continuously replaying in an effort to find closure. The brain frequently revisits memories of the past, not from a place of yearning, but in pursuit of something important, answers, clarity, or a resolution that was never achieved. Emotional connections extend beyond mere brain functions. They are fundamentally embedded in our subconscious. When we avoid addressing certain feelings, those emotions don't simply disappear. Instead, they linger as mental imprints that impact us in ways that aren't entirely apparent. Have you ever felt like certain individuals still linger in your mind, even after they've left your life? This happens because, at some emotional level, you remain connected to them. Jung proposed that unresolved feelings resemble incomplete psychological agreements that linger until we confront and process them. They insist on our focus. At times, we cling to these connections due to what that individual represented: a past version of ourselves, a dream that didn't materialize, or a hope that fell short. This attachment transcends the individual. It relates to what they signify for us internally. So how can we free ourselves from these lingering emotional ties? The initial step involves realizing that our perceptions of someone often reflect not them specifically, but something deeper within ourselves. What feelings are still unaddressed? What insights do we still need to embrace? Which aspects of ourselves remain linked to that bond? Letting go doesn't mean erasing memories. It's about incorporating them. It's the process of allowing ourselves to genuinely feel, work through, and acknowledge the past so it no longer manipulates us from the back of our minds. Once we do this, our thoughts no longer need to fixate because we have learned from the experience. Yet, just when we believe we've moved on, the universe appears to present us with signs and serendipities that are too significant to overlook. Could these be mere coincidences, or is there something greater at play here? There are instances in life when everything appears synchronized, as if the universe is guiding you toward a particular person or scenario. Such moments may seem purely accidental, but deep inside, you may sense they hold deeper significance. Carl Jung referred to this phenomenon as synchronicity, where significant coincidences surpass ordinary experiences. It is the feeling that the threads of our existence are intertwined by forces beyond our understanding, yet we cannot ignore their presence. Synchronicity is more than just a series of random events aligning. It reflects a sensation that something profoundly important is happening right in front of you. When you encounter frequent reminders about someone you've been thinking of, or when events happen in a way that feels too perfectly timed to be merely by chance, it's possible that your subconscious is indicating a stronger link exists. Such coincidences tend to surface during moments of heightened emotions, when your thoughts are filled with unresolved feelings, unexpressed wishes, or lingering matters. It's as if the universe responds by providing hints, guiding you back to that individual, or revealing a new aspect of the emotional bond that remains in your mind. Jung proposed that these occurrences are not random. Instead, they unveil an underlying pattern amidst life's disorder. The individuals who frequently occupy your mind may serve a purpose beyond mere chance. They could symbolize something significant in your life's journey. In this context, synchronicity goes beyond just being a collection of coincidences. It is the progression of occurrences that reveals a deeper subconscious link. The universe may be indicating that these connections are not just random, they are significant components of your personal psychological development. Every occurrence, individual, and emotion holds importance, even if it is not immediately apparent to you. When synchronicities arise, they often serve as a prompt to be aware and recognize the deeper trends within your life. The signs you notice may not always seem rational, yet they carry emotional and symbolic meaning. They illustrate the relationships between your inner world and the external reality you are facing. Perhaps the individual who occupies your thoughts isn't simply a memory from your past. They might represent an aspect of your psyche that is ready to be acknowledged or healed. The unseen link connecting you and them is rich with significance, and synchronicity acts as a gentle nudge to focus, delve deeper, and believe that there is a reason for these enigmatic connections. At times, these significant moments may prompt us to wonder if everything is just coincidence, or if there's a connection that lies beneath the surface. These signs may not always yield immediate answers, but they encourage us to explore the idea that there is more to those who linger in our thoughts, something that points to a larger pattern we have yet to fully grasp. Occasionally, the individuals who occupy your mind are not merely solitary figures. They grow into something more extensive, taking on a symbolic role in your subconscious. These individuals transform into archetypes, universal symbols that reflect deeper facets of our psyche and life experiences. They cease to be just people and become embodiments of traits, desires, or unresolved elements of ourselves. According to Carl Jung, archetypes are fundamental images passed down from our collective human experience that influence our perceptions and actions. They act as templates for understanding various aspects of the self. When someone persistently enters your thoughts, they may be fulfilling the role of an archetype within your consciousness. For instance, consider the role of the mentor, the wise figure who assists you in facing challenges and facilitates your growth in ways you did not foresee. Perhaps someone in your life has taken on this role, and their presence in your mind represents the wisdom they shared rather than their personal traits. Alternatively, think of the lover. Desire encompasses not just romantic attraction, but also a yearning for profound connection, vulnerability, and self-expression. This real individual may personify a part of your psyche that is craving love, acceptance, or intimacy in a manner that has yet to be fully explored. When individuals transform into archetypes within your subconscious, they cease to be mere people. They become instruments of personal change. Jung suggested that archetypes arise from the interplay of our internal experiences and the external environment, influencing our connections with others and ultimately with ourselves. Throughout our journey in life, we meet various archetypal characters, each affecting our personal evolution. The individual who frequently occupies your mind might be serving as a reflection, revealing a role that you are unknowingly attempting to embody. They may symbolize a facet of your own development, or even a trait you are striving to incorporate into your life, whether they take on the form of the warrior, pushing your boundaries, the victim, evoking feelings of helplessness, or the shadow, confronting your darker nature. They are all conveying important lessons about your identity and who you are becoming. But what transpires when a real individual becomes stuck in the role of an archetype, when we elevate someone to such a degree that they no longer feel like a real person, but instead a symbol? In such instances, we overlook their uniqueness and instead impose a set of expectations and desires onto them. This is where the risk lies, when the figure in your thoughts can no longer be viewed as a complete, multifaceted human being and instead transforms into an archetype in your mind. You may struggle to accept their flaws, imperfections, or changes that are bound to happen. This projection often results in disappointment, as the person can never truly meet the idealized image you have formed. Nevertheless, the real insight comes from acknowledging this tendency and learning to appreciate the intricacies of both others and ourselves. Instead of depending on simplistic, one-dimensional portrayals, those who linger in our thoughts are not merely remnants of our past. They often play an important role in shaping our internal landscapes. When you can recognize that someone has become an archetype within your mind, you gain the ability to shift your relationship with them and with the aspects of yourself that they symbolize. The key question becomes, what is it about this individual that encourages your growth, and how can you apply this understanding to get closer to your true self? When a person constantly occupies your thoughts, it can feel overwhelming, as if your mind is ensnared in a cycle of persistent reflection. The initial step to liberating yourself from this mental captivity is to recognize that these recurring thoughts do not necessarily indicate weakness or obsession. They serve as an invitation, a call to delve into deeper dimensions of your own mind, to comprehend why this individual continues to occupy your thoughts, and to reveal the unresolved feelings and attachments that keep you connected to them. Carl Jung's idea of individuation offers a strong basis for this journey. Individuation refers to the path of combining all elements of one's identity, including both the positive and negative, as well as the aware and unaware aspects. This process involves confronting the facets of yourself that you have overlooked or pushed away and letting them be recognized. If a person frequently occupies your mind, it usually indicates a link to a part of yourself that still needs to be fully recognized or comprehended. The essential step to liberating your mind starts with becoming aware of yourself. Take a moment to think about why this individual holds such an important position in your thoughts. What emotions come up when you consider them? Are there any feelings that have not been addressed, needs that have not been met, or hidden projections involved? They might symbolize something you've yet to fully come to terms with, such as pain, yearning, regret, or even something positive like respect or unrealized potential. Recognizing these feelings is the initial move toward dislodging their mental grip on you. Activities like journaling, meditation, or thorough self-reflection can aid in pinpointing the source of your fixation. Once you grasp the root cause, you can start to intentionally let go of the emotional intensity that keeps drawing your thoughts back to them. A significant aspect of this process is learning to emotionally detach. This doesn't involve eliminating the person from your life or acting as if they were never important. Instead, it means changing your perspective from obsessive thinking to a state of emotional neutrality. Detachment helps you reclaim your peace of mind without being dominated by the unresolved feelings related to that person. One effective way to practice detachment is through mindfulness, which entails staying present with your thoughts and feelings without passing judgment, rather than getting consumed by a story about them. Witness your thoughts as they come and allow them to drift away like clouds in the sky. With consistency, you can establish a distance between yourself and the emotions that used to feel overwhelming. Lastly, liberating your mind also requires embracing the journey of healing and development. Every experience, including those filled with persistent thoughts of someone, offers a chance for personal evolution. The process of individuation encourages us to face our hidden or neglected aspects and integrate them into our complete selves. If someone frequently occupies your mind, they may signify an unresolved component of your inner self. They could represent a trait you wish to cultivate, a wound that needs healing, or a lesson that remains unlearned. Rather than battling these thoughts, allow them to lead you toward greater self-awareness and emotional clarity. This journey enables you to change what once caused you pain or obsession into a route for personal development and emotional stability. As you start to uncover the more profound aspects of your mind, you regain the ability to choose your emotional focus, determine which thoughts deserve your consideration, and channel your energy into growth. The individual who once filled your mind may still occupy a corner of your heart, but they will no longer possess the authority to govern your thoughts. Through understanding yourself, letting go, and healing, you can liberate yourself from the hold of persistent thoughts and find your way back to a state of emotional balance where your authentic self can thrive. As we have discussed today, the individuals who occupy our minds are not merely there by chance. They convey messages, teachings, and deeper insights about ourselves that seek recognition. By acknowledging the hidden links, projections, emotional ties, and archetypes involved, we can release ourselves from the cycles that hinder us and restore emotional harmony. Keep in mind that growth is a process, and every experience, regardless of its difficulty, is a chance to develop into a fuller version of who you are. If you appreciated this exploration of the mind, please give this video a thumbs up, as it assists others in finding this enlightening content. Be sure to subscribe to Mind Who, where we explore the intriguing topics of psychology, philosophy, and personal development daily. Activate notifications to ensure you never miss an opportunity to uncover more of your authentic self until we meet again. Continue to reflect, continue to grow, and continue to embrace the inner journey.